Keytruda, tell your doctor about all your medical conditions, including immune system problems, or if you've had an organ transplant, or lung, breathing, or liver problems.
I used to take the small things for granted. I don't anymore.
Living longer is possible. It's true. Keytruda from Merck. Ask your doctor about Keytruda, with more FDA-approved uses for advanced lung cancer than any other immunotherapy.
I've got plenty of time to work out, said no one, ever. That's why we invented the Bowflex Max Trainer, the world's first 14-minute total body workout, combining the low-impact motion of an elliptical with the calorie-burning power of a stepper.
The Max Trainer kicked my butt. A lot of sweat. I lost 15.5 pounds in 10 weeks. It is the fastest workout I've ever done.
14 minutes is all it takes, and you'd feel that burn. I cut my body fat in half with the Max Trainer.
The Max Trainer's console guides you through 14 minutes of intervals. Short bursts of effort, followed by longer periods of rest. You'll work smarter, not harder, burning up to 2.5 times the calories of other workouts.
I worked half as long on the Max Trainer as other machines, and I got better results.
You feel it in your arms, your core, everywhere. Thanks to Max, I'm in the best shape of my life.
Call or go to ordermaxtrainer.com to learn about great deals like 18-month special financing and how to save over $450, including free shipping. That's ordermaxtrainer.com.
It's Chiefs, it's Raiders. When it's on, it's on. The Chiefs are the NFL's biggest surprise, but the Raiders are ready to take down their division rivals. Thursday Night Football, Thursday at 8 on NFL Network, CBS, and streaming on Amazon Prime Video.
Madden NFL America. We're taking you behind the scenes with some of the top gamers.
That was fun to watch.
NFL players.
How is that not a touchdown?
And biggest fans across the country.
This is incredible.
Madden NFL America, Saturday at 4 on NFL Network.
Back here live on the Aftermath, delivered by Papa John's, and we got some milestones for a couple of future Hall of Famers. Tom Brady, now the winningest regular season quarterback of all time, got his 187th victory, this time over the Jets. Monster. And Larry Fitzgerald passing our pal, Steve Smith, Sr.
He added a pancake block to his repertoire yesterday, too.
And might have that record as well, right?
Yeah, sure
7th all-time now on the all-time receiving list.
Dudes.
Way to work, Larry Fitz. Time now for 3 and Out. Steve, lead us off.
Yeah, I'm going to kick this thing off right here. Down in New Orleans, they have 2 good running backs. They usually have 3. Now they've got 2. But this guy right here, rookie Alvin Kamara, with the Skeets Nehemiah hurdle over Darius Slay. Woo! Guys, I'm telling you, if he was their full-time back, we'd be talking about him in contention for the offensive rookie of the year. He is a special player, and they love him. Heath, you know that.
I do.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson would have something to say about that, I think, for sure. And Mike, what do you got?
Kyle Shanahan is looking for his first NFL win. He's going to win a lot in this league, but twice he has had potential victories late in the game taken away because of offensive pass interference calls. Yeah, not called a lot in those situations. Kyle,
there you go.
Getting that win soon.
Don't take my time, Mike. Adam Gase, your team played about 5 or 6 win football last year, but you won 10 because you're grimy, you're tough. Your boys are tough and grimy. They did it again yesterday. Couple straight victory. We'll see what they can get going for us down the stretch.
A little bit of Tilex will remove some of that grime off your continue. Next Monday, we'll see you at 3 o'clock Eastern time right here on the Aftermath. Fantasy Live. You're up.
Night-night.
Right now on NFL Fantasy Live, Aaron Rodgers went down in Minnesota. It's a huge hit for the Pack and for Plus Captain's Log. Start date October 15th. Captain Kirk clobbers the 49ers front. Is the Redskins skipper now a must-start signal caller for the remainder of the season? And the halfback hullabaloo has hit high gear. We regale the runners and bust out the big names who brought it in Week 6. Right now, we have 3 giddy guys looking at a Week 6 win and one who's, well...
I got another win this week.
I'm not looking at you.
Oh.
Somebody need a hug.
What happened? You lost?
Does somebody need a hug?
I got Drew Breezed.
Just saying. 3 guys in the Experts Leagues. Winners, 1 head to I will haunt the remainder of the season. Coach Mike McCarthy said the Packers will move forward with Brett Hundley as their starter. So we ask, how does this, obviously it affects the Packers offense, but whom in the Packers offense is most affected?
Well, to me, it's Jordy Nelson. He's got a cannon arm. He's accurate. He can extend plays. And now you're looking at Brett Hundley, who has very little experience in the National Football League. This is a massive downgrade. Jordy Nelson goes from being an elite #1 fantasy wide receiver to being a 2.
Wow. Well, here's the positive. The positive is that the running back and Ty Montgomery, they're going to utilize different looks to be able to help them move the ball down the field.
I do have one concern about Ty Montgomery, and it's that when you have a quarterback who is mobile, a lot of times they won't throw those dump-off passes to a running back. They may just hold on to it and take it themselves. So Ty Montgomery, I do have a little concern. I'm not going to completely bail on him, but I am a little bit worried.
But just remember, too, Ty Montgomery still.
At running back, you feel better about it. The fact that it's a committee just convolutes the situation even further. You lose the best.
Well, I'd go Brett Hundley. I wouldn't go too far away from it. I get that you're not going to get the same type of production as Aaron Rodgers. Nobody's going to be as close as that. But you got to go back to his tape at UCLA and think about the type of offense that he ran down there. Got a little bit of the spread action in, so you know he's comfortable taking deep shots down the field, finding guys like Jordy Nelson.
He is absolutely out there. Now, you stream quarterbacks until he comes back, but when he does,
I know you're streaming quarterbacks as an option. I don't know that I want to wait, so I'm going to go with Jared Goff because he's out there right now, and he's a guy you can play right now. And the Rams have figured out how to make him more comfortable. We've seen him improve a lot this year, and the fantasy playoff schedule for Goff, not great, but it's not terrible either. So if you have to roll with him till the end of the season, he's a decent option for you.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, when you say stream, it is funny. You look every single week, and there is a stream quarterback. The Patriots win over the Jets gave Brady 187 career regular season wins. That is the most by a quarterback in NFL history. He passes Peyton Manning and Brett Favre. So in fantasy terms, he's currently third among QBs behind Deshaun Watson and Alex Smith. He's an absolute must-start, as is Rob Gronkowski and Brandon Cooks. But beyond that, we get a lot of questions, and the Pats' offense in week out.
I absolutely do trust Chris Hogan every week. I know he wasn't great on Sunday against the Jets, but before that, he had 4 straight games of double-digit points. He's been in the end zone nearly every game this season, and he's a guy that Tom Brady seems very comfortable going to in generally any situation throughout the ballgame.
Fabs, you trust Danny Amendola week in, week out?
I don't know about week in.
And that matchup / flex.
Yes,
okay,
there's no doubt about
James White.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I trust James White in this offense. I mean, you look at him; he's the most targeted wide receiver on this team, or back in this situation. And they're giving him a lot of opportunities. And you look at the amount of production he's getting that with those opportunities. 11.3.
Deion Lewis got the start yesterday and had more fantasy points. And if you look at Gillislee's numbers, 11.5 touches per game in his last 4. That is not going to cut it from a fantasy perspective. And you know there's going to be games where game script gets the Patriots inside their team, and he's going to do nothing for you in terms of being a pass catcher.
All right, Brady is the GOAT with those 187 wins. But if you want to make touchdowns, is Deshaun Watson the best quarterback in fantasy?
Right now he is. And I don't know how you can question it. Every single week he's giving you a minute. Look at his fantasy numbers the last few weeks. They have not been that good.
Yeah, and I think what we're seeing, too, is also is that whole element of surprise. We saw that last year with Dak Prescott when defensive coordinator was like, I don't have enough tape to figure out how they're utilizing him, what his tip. But because you talk about his mobility, that is a big, huge factor in fantasy football. Like his coach said, missing out on Deshaun Watson is like missing out on Michael Jordan.
Well, on top of it, he's got a fairly favorable schedule down the stretch. I mean, he still gets to face the 49ers. He still gets to face the Tennessee Titans. He gets a Seattle defense that has been up and down this year. So things.
I mean, I'm anxious to see because, look, rookies they don't dominate at the quarterback position week in and week out, and we're kind of waiting for that rookie wall.
Yeah.
Dak did, but that was an offensive line, Ezekiel Elliott situation, I think, that helped.
They had a great balance.
Considerably.
You're absolutely right. They had that great balance.
It won't surprise me at all if he does, because he's just that good of a player, and your eyeball test tells you that he will. But this is the week, I think, where you can be a full-on believer if he does it at Seattle. All right, Jameis Winston left Sunday's game with a sprained AC joint in his shoulder. Now, he remained on the sideline in uniform, attempted some warm-up passes, but did not re-enter the game as backup. Ryan Fitzpatrick worth hanging on to?
I would say yes, he is. And the reason why is because you look at the waiver wire, not a lot of options. We talked about streaming. I mean, we're really reaching and searching for streaming options right now.
Yeah, he is certainly worth a roster spot. But, boy, you've really got to be sick if you started Winston and then Ryan Fitzpatrick
I mean, because you're streaming quarterbacks at this point, and I don't know that he's been good enough or shown enough to.
Well, who are you streaming, though?
Jared Goff. I mean, Jacoby Brissett. I mean, we go through a list of guys.
Phillip Rivers.
I mean, Jameis hasn't shown enough to make me feel like I want to hold a roster spot for him.
All right, the fountain. 32-year-old Adrian Peterson suddenly looked like vintage AD in his first game with the Cards. 134 yards, 2 touchdowns, over 5 yards per carry. Is this a 1-week spike?
No, it's not.
Are we buying it?
No, of course I'm buying it. Look, he looked like the old Adrian Peterson, but I'm not calling him old. I mean, this right here was a performance that I think we all.
The last 2 years.
He's back on track. He's back on track. He's a cyborg. Okay, watch this. We're going to say this next week. The same thing next week as well.
Yeah, I want to see it again next week because he was going to be one of the worst defenses in the National Football League. And I Taylor made a point on Sunday saying that it looked like the Cardinals made a decision to see would the Buccaneers DBs want to tackle, and they looked like they didn't want to tackle Adrian Peterson. Can you say the same for the?
For that man, Larry Fitzgerald and Adrian Peterson, who we just saw, that might be the most fantasy points that any 3 guys at that age have ever scored in the history of the National Football League. Fitzgerald's been a little bit up and down, but when he's good, he is darn good.
103 years old.
Yeah.
And by the way, going up against the Rams this week, and their run defense is not good.
So
maybe not the right time to push Akbar. It's time for No Sick Days, presented by Dayquil and NyQuil, because there are no
passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and remember, he rushed for a touchdown as well, which is always huge from a fantasy perspective. And if you look at his numbers, I mean, since week 3, he's averaging 20.
Fantasy, Marcus. Melvin Gordon does it back-to-back.
It's Melvin Gordon. And again, all that talk of Austin Eckler maybe jumping in and getting some carries seems to have fired up Melvin Gordon, because 2 back-to-back weeks of 27 or more fantasy points, and he's looking like the guy that you spent a mid or high first-round pick on.
How about a career-high 9 receptions as well? All right, good. Akbar, Antonio Brown.
Performance in the week before, but he came right back into it. Antonio Brown got his groove back against this solid defense, but Kansas City Chiefs defense not looking as solid as we've been accustomed to. Antonio Brown, outstanding performance, 21 fantasy points in this game. I think he's back on a roll.
Yeah, especially against the pass. That one was just ridiculous. That should have been a pick. Falls into the basket. There it is. Fab's top scoring tight end, Rob Gronkowski, back where you belong.
You've never said that in the history of NFL Fantasy Live, have you? 10 targets, 83 yards, and 2 touchdowns. 80-plus receiving yards in 4 straight games. As long as Rob Gronkowski is healthy, and that's always
the week to start. The Saints defense is the top scoring unit, right, Marcus?
Yeah, of course they did. You know what? The last 3 weeks, they've actually put up some really decent performances. They've had 4 or more sacks in each of their last 3 games. Last 3 games combine a total of 9 turnovers around.
They're playing Brett Hundley next week.
Hey, there you go.
You think we're going to get another 30-pointer?
I don't know about that, but I mean,
time to stream a D. That was No Sick Days, presented by Dayquil and NyQuil. Now we look at the rest of Week 6 big fantasy winners. Mark Ingram. How about that, huh?
Yeah, he looked good. Let me just first say this. I was heated that he was so good, because I had Alvin Kamara. I'm like, can we get him some love? There were a couple of times Alvin worked his way down in the red zone and pounded it. This is exactly what Sean Payton wants in his run game. He wants that pounding thunder, and he's got his lightning in Alvin Kamara.
Le'Veon Bell, Fabs.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Turns out,
I mean,
he's back.
He is ridiculous. Over his last 3 weeks, he has been putting up numbers, the numbers that we expected from him. There's no question about that. He is this offense.
Can you say, God forbid, we don't want the wheels to fall off of Le'Veon Bell?
Marcus Jerick McKinnon, not the name that Le'Veon Bell is, but similar production.
Similar production, 99 total yards, a pair of touchdowns in this one. And the thing that we've noticed over the last couple of weeks is he is a closer fit to what Dalvin Cook brought to this offense than Latavius Murray. And so McKinnon's starting to get more opportunities. He's just more explosive right now and is doing more things with his chances. So going forward, I think he's going to be the guy that you want to have on your roster from this Minnesota backfield.
And rumors of Carlos Hyde's demise were greatly exaggerated.
Yeah, and he was one of my trap players. I had him as a guy that you should stay away from in this game against the Redskins. But he showed up, but mostly in the touchdown. He got the opportunities to get in the end zone, and that's why he had a. He was okay in the passing game, but we got to see more out of him.
Next on NFL Network, it's Total Access. Which teams should start to panic after slow starts, and which are still set for success? Plus, the latest on Sunday's key injuries on NFL Total Access tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern here on NFL Network. Still to come, let's say you had Drew Brees locked in your lineup. You look up, you see the Lions laid down, and Drew's crew carved him up for 50. You think on Brissett tonight? Well, that's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
let's make this fast. You're used to accepting credit cards like this, but Square's new reader keeps you safer if you take cards like this or like this. Square you accept every credit card for the same low rate. That's every dip and every tap, with no surprise fees. Deposits come fast, like as soon as the next business day fast. And with easy-to-read sales reports, you can grow your business fast. Accept every card, every payment, everywhere, and get paid fast. Get started at square.com.
Winning the lottery hasn't changed us. Because with GameFly, all our favorite games still come right to our mailbox. And no
Universal Technical Institute is now training students for future positions in the transportation industry. If you have a passion for putting machines to the test, UTI is ready for you with over $15 million in sponsored scholarships this year. We build our programs with the leading names in the business, so you can learn the professional skills you need in classrooms like these. Visit uti.edu to find out about programs, campuses, and financial aid. Contact us today to enroll.
Access. No access. Total access.
Welcome to NFL Total Access.
All day, every day. Total behind the scenes, inside the huddle, Hail Mary access.
What a catch!
Coverage. This goes beyond coverage.
Let's go!
This is about total X&O breaking news TD celebration access.
I was nervous.
Catch? There's no catch. You want total 5 night a week?
You want more of that? We got you. Hundreds and hundreds of live games.
A gorgeous spin.
Get the full season.
All season long.
No sweat. Oh, you just want to watch your team.
Yes, sir.
We got you. Anytime, anywhere. It's that easy. To order NBA League Pass, call 1-800-GET-SPORTS or visit directtv.com/NBA.
Hello. Let's go for a ride on a Peloton. Let's go grab a couple thousand friends and chase each other up a hill. Let's go make a personal best, then beat it with your personal better than best. Let's go bring the world's best instructors right to you. Better yet, let's go bring the entire New York studio live. Let's go anytime, anywhere, with anyone who's willing. And let's go do it all.
Out of bounds at the 5. T.Y. Hilton for another big gainer.
If you get T.Y. Hilton in space singled up, I'm throwing him the ball every time.
And it is caught inside the 10-yard line by T.Y. Hilton.
What?
And it is caught by T.Y. Hilton. Are you kidding me?
Monday Night Football, T.Y. Hilton and the Colts getting set for a divisional matchup with the Titans. So let's set the expectations. Fabs, your take on T.Y. tonight?
Oh, what do I need from T.Y.?
26. I know what you need. You need 26.
I want about 30, but I'm projecting 16, and I'm being conservative here. He's actually scored 23.5 people. Feast enough for me to beat this man over here, Matt Money Smith.
How about Jacoby Brissett, Marcus?
Well, if T.Y.'s going to eat, it's because Jacoby's going to be feeding him. I've got him with 23 points tonight, partially because he can get the ball through the air and certainly sling it around to T.Y. Hilton, who he's pretty much had eyes for almost exclusively since he took over the quarterback position. But on top of it, we know he can get out of the pocket and run a little bit as well, maybe get himself in the end zone there against a bad Tennessee Titans defense.
How about Frank Gore?
Well, you know, they struggled defensively, but Marlon Mack, I think Marlon Mack gets in and gets a lot of
for Marlon Mack, and your 8.5 is why I have Marlon Mack at 15.5, because that's going to be more points. You get the touchdown. I'm guessing a couple receptions out of the backfield. And while this Titans run defense has been pretty good, look, the AFC South is up for grabs now.
Yes, it is.
You know, and if you're going to see an aggressive Colts defense, that means you want clock churning and clock milking drives, and that means a lot of Marlon Mack because there's some action in those legs, and I'm guessing he's going to start taking more and more carries.
Now all you got to do is just get Rhoda to say action, right?
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
All you got to do. On to the Titans side. DeMarco Murray, far and away the best fantasy option.
Career-wise, he has faced the Colts 3 times. He has scored a touchdown in all 3 games, so that's a good trend. And also, the Colts have allowed 3 running backs to score 19-plus fantasy points this season, so clearly they can be had on the ground.
How about Delaney Walker, Marcus?
I got Delaney Walker right at an even 10 fantasy points tonight. He has been one of the top targets on this team, regardless of who's been at quarterback all season long, and I see they continue to go to him.
I've got him going for 6 fantasy points. We know in the last 2 games he's had 1 fantasy point. It's Monday night. There's 30 yards there. I think he'll be good.
6 touchdowns allowed by this Indianapolis defense on the ground, so maybe you get that nice short one there. All right, after the Colts and Titans wrap up Week 6, Week 7 we'll start with a classic AFC West rivalry taking the primetime spotlight. Kareem Hunt The dynamic Chiefs are the NFL's biggest surprise, but Khalil Mack and the Raiders ready to take down their division rivals. They need it bad. Chiefs-Raiders, Thursday Night Football. It all starts at 6 p.m. Eastern with TNF Game Day Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern on NFL Network, CBS, and streaming on Amazon Prime Video. All right, let's do our fantasy participation trophies for Week 6. The guys who, well, they tried, gosh darn it, but just did not get it done.
Hurts.
Marcus, you got Drew Brees.
Yeah, you would think that in a game where your team scored 52 points, that the quarterback would have more than 11.5, but it was a rough end.
The passing offense.
Their defense scored 3 touchdowns right there, so,
so there you go. You go to bed, hey, wake up 50 points, you look at the box.
You're doing all right.
Fabs, how about Matt?
Matt Ryan has been one of the biggest busts in fantasy football, and it was easy to predict because he had the magical season in 2016. His QB finishes by week 10th, 15th, 23rd, 27th, and 17th. That's not good. And he's had some favorable matchups in those weeks, and he has not been able to exploit them. Now, he's playing the Patriots this week. If he can't put a big stat line on the Patriots, I would cut Matt Ryan. I don't care if he won the MVP last season. If you can't do it against New England, you simply can't do it.
I'll see that interception. He had 2 of them yesterday. It's a bad deal on that offense. You see the strip sack there from Joey Bosa. Rodney Hudson managed to fall on that. But those tackles are not protecting him. Newhouse does not look like a good signing in the offseason. Donald Penn has been embattled. He has had a piece on Thursday at the Bills, at the Dolphins the following 2 weeks, and you're hearing about strife and discord in that Raider locker room now that they're 2-4. This might be matchup-based starter moving forward for Derek Carr. Akbar, how about Terrell Pryor?
Awkwardness. That's how awkward it has been for me having Terrell Pryor. I keep forcing him in my lineup. Yes, do I sound angry? Of course I am.
Force him upon us.
2.3 fantasy points. I'm like, okay, it's going to come around this week. I promise. Oh, 49ers? I like this matchup. He's going to get it this week. Oh, next week, he's got the Eagles. Yeah, he's going to get it. No, it hasn't happened. It hasn't happened. He's not doing anything for anyone.
You know what happens? He gets in the huddle. He looks at Kirk Cousins and he says, hey, man, do you trust me? And Kirk goes, no. And they break huddle. Prisoner of the moment or cutting-edge clairvoyance?
It's not just a car. It's your daily retreat. Go ahead. Spoil yourself. The ES and ES Hybrid. Experience amazing.
Need help calling the right play on game day? Call me at the Gruden Hotline. Gruden Hotline.
Coach, I'm decorating for game day.
Decorating what, with like streamers?
And balloons.
Really?
Yeah, like I said, I'm decorating.
It's a game, not an office party. You got Coronas, you're good. Trust me.
Streamers and balloons.
All right, then.
Find your beats this game day. Call the Gruden Hotline, and you could win the opportunity to hang out and talk football with Coach Gruden.
It's Golden Corral's all.
It delivers the power of gas without the noise, fuss, or fumes. Exclusively at the Home Depot and Ego authorized dealers.
I came to America to share my Giovanni Rana ravioli the same way I did with Italy 50 years ago. One person at a time. For you. That wasn't easy. Graded section. Giovanni Rana pasta. Share what's inside.
Yo, King, turn up the heat. I wanna taste spice on them juicy white meat nuggets. Give me 10 like a handful. $1.49, that's a price I can handle. Spice, spice, baby. 10 spicy nuggets for $1.49. Spice, spice. Only at Burger King.
I've got plenty of time to work out. Said no one, ever. That's why we invented the Bowflex Max Trainer, the world's first 14-minute total body workout, combining the low-impact motion of an elliptical with the calorie-burning power of a stepper.
The Max Trainer kicked my butt. A lot of sweat. I lost 15.5 pounds in 10 weeks. It is the fastest workout I've ever done.
14 minutes is all it takes, and you feel that burn. I cut my body fat in half with the Max Trainer.
The Max Trainer's console guides you through 14 minutes of intervals. Short bursts of effort, followed by longer periods of rest. You'll work smarter, not harder, burning up to 2.5 times the calories of other workouts.
I worked half as long on the Max Trainer as other machines, and I got better results. It's amazing.
You feel it in your arms, your core, everywhere. Thanks to Max, I'm in the best shape of my life.
Call or go to ordermaxtrainer.com to learn about great deals like 18-month special financing and how to save over $450, including free shipping. That's ordermaxtrainer.com.
It's Chiefs, it's Raiders. Raiders. When it's on, it's on. The Chiefs are the NFL's biggest surprise, but the Raiders are ready to take down their division rivals. Thursday Night Football, Thursday at 8 on NFL Network, CBS, and streaming on Amazon Prime Video.
There's game highlights.
You know you get the call, right?
You already know, man. Then there's prime highlights.
This ain't no reality show, baby.
Game day analysis meets prime time.
PPR league. So basically what I'm telling you is that McKinnon is now worth a very solid wide receiver. There's no question about that. All right, next one. Kareem Hunt has failed to crack 12.5 fantasy points in 3 straight weeks. Should you be worried?
No, I don't think there's any reason to worry about Kareem Hunt. And just, you look at the way Andy Reid utilizes these guys in his offense here. Kareem Hunt, a guy like a DeAnthony Thomas, and he uses these fast guys and he puts them out. He spreads them out to the side. He'll put them in multiple sets. Kareem Hunt is valuable because he's a solid running back and a solid pass-catching running back. I think he makes a big difference. You'll see the change. Now, look, they're stacking the box against him because they know how valuable he is to this run game.
If his floor in PPR leagues is 16 points, I have no problem with Kareem Hunt at all. And look at the schedule, too. Moving forward, I mean, second half of the season, he's got the Cowboys. Trust me, I know the defense is not good. The Giants aren't good against the run. You know, Buffalo, they got the Jets, the Raiders. Sorry, pal, but the Raiders defense not that great this season.
Okay.
They've got the Chargers as well, so I'm not worried about the rookie. Next one, if you were drafting today, right now, in what round would you take Deshaun Watson?
You know what? I'd go 5th round. I think you and I share the same belief when you talk about Deshaun Watson, is that quarterback should be drafted around, as high as the 5th round. But I think the reality is that he'll be taken somewhere in the 1st. And I think that's...
Whoa,
yeah,
first round?
Yeah, and you know what? I wouldn't necessarily advise against it. When you get a guy that is a double threat like Deshaun Watson is, the guy can run. And not just run. I mean, the guy's pretty fast when he gets out to the outside. The reason why he's putting up these big valuable fantasy points is because he's too hard to contain.
I would say 5th round because that's where I would start to look at, an Aaron Rodgers or a Tom Brady, some of the elite quarterbacks in the league. But 1st round, that's too rich for my blood, my friend.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily advise against it. Me personally, 5th, but I would tell other fantasy owners to go out there and try to get him in the 1st round.
All right, next question. Did we overhype Tariq Cohen after his first week?
Yes, we are. And the reason why is because you look at Tariq Cohen and all of a sudden he gets a little bit of confusion in the backfield. Jordan Howard is no longer the guy. Everybody get excited about Cohen. I think we overhyped him, pumped the Ben.
I mean, even yesterday, he scored double-digit points. He had a touchdown pass, which we're seeing right here. But still, we never thought he was going to be a featured back.
I think
he's a PPR flex, and that's what he's been.
Because of his diminutive stature, I think people got excited, like, yeah, he's going to be the next Sproles. He's going to be the next guy. Just hadn't worked out yet. 2.7 yards a game in the last 3 games.
5'8". All right, that's all for Fantasy versus Reality.
NFL.com/fantasyTIL. But I did learn that I was wrong about Adrian Peterson. Yes, I said all week long to sit him. I said that the Cardinals are going to throw the ball a ton, that they can't block for the running backs, that everything was going to be against Adrian. He's got the Rams defense. They're also not good against the run, so maybe we could be back here again after week 7. Who knows? Next thing I learned, it is that Mark Ingram's stock is up in their win over the Detroit Lions, and it looks like he's going to be the guy that they use. He's the guy who seems to be benefiting. Alvin Kamara, pretty much the same number of touches as he always had. He was certainly effective with them, but Mark Ingram is going to get a heavier workload now that the veteran has moved on to the desert. Other thing that I learned, Mike Gillislee, well, this stock is down there in New England. He had a big week 1, had those 3 touchdowns, had another touchdown in week 2. Make him worthwhile as starting in your fantasy roster, and especially if the Patriots defense continues to struggle. That means New England's going to throw the football. Gillislee offers nothing in that passing game for the Patriots. And that is things I learned. Money? What do you got?
Brown and where each team ranks on their exclusive list of all 32 clubs. Then on 21st in Prime, Pro Football Hall of Famer Deion Sanders provides his thoughts on the latest happenings around the NFL. Power Rankings Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, followed by 21st in Prime at 6:30 only on NFL Network. For a joke, or is this another product of the Pats defense producing points for a plethora of pluggers? We'll tell you right after this.
No matter what your background, you'll be uplifted by the country.
To be in Israel with some guys who I look up to, unbelievable.
Bringing the game to the rest of the world, there's nothing.
We'll take home the $25,000 grand prize.
Let's go! He pulls it in for the touchdown!
The Madden NFL 18 Classic, Saturday at 10, live on NFL Network.
Hey, honey.
Have you seen the fence? Because it's missing again.
Really? That is so weird.
Yeah.
4 hours to find a fence?
Let's go.
Okay, go Cardinals.
A lot of different ingredients. Our beer is brewed.
College mascots, they're less confident. Fortunately, there's Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. It's simple, so they can understand the details and be sure they're getting the right mortgage. Apply simply, understand fully.
It's not me, it's not my family in your head. They're still fighting.
Rated mature. Yo, King, turn up the heat. I wanna taste spice on them juicy white meat nuggets. Give me 10 like a handful. $1.49, that's a price I can handle. Spice, spice, baby. 10 spicy nuggets for $1.49. Spice, spice. Only at Burger King.
It's Golden Corral's all-new smokehouse. Choose from hickory smoked beef, brisket, tender baby back ribs, smoked chicken and turkey, all cooked low and slow on site. Smoke it, baby. Golden Corral, your choice for rules.
This is not another 18-blade razor, because this is one blade from Philips Norelco, a blade for beards and stubble. Shape and shave any length and be your best you with one blade from Philips Norelco. Innovation and you. Philips Norelco.
Who are you?
Oh, I'm Antonio. I'm just helping Andy and you move in together, so you can fill up with a big bowl of chunky mac soup. It's got 40% more meat, so you can be more committed to the situation.
Situation?
New Chunky Macs. We'll fill in while you fill up.
Every Tuesday, Deion Sanders and
like them, baby.
21st in Prime. Tomorrow at 6:30, only on NFL Network.
A little jump cut. Throws to Nicholas, caught in the end zone, touchdown. Carson Palmer delivered a strike to Larry Fitzgerald. Peterson and Fitz getting it done. Caught by John Brown, went into the end zone. The Cardinals offense looks dominant.
Let's get to our production we call Plug and Play. The experts here explain which free agents can be plugged into your roster and which ones should stay on the bench. Fabs, we just saw those Cardinals. How about John Brown, if he's available on that revitalized Cardinals offense?
Yeah, all of a sudden, John Brown,
he's not old enough.
You see that big smile he's got on his face? Well, fantasy owners are going to be smiling when they pick him up this week, because a lot of the targets have been going to Jerron Brown, now getting more targets in what is all of a sudden an explosive pass attack.
All right, we go from that to Marcus, who has Orleans Darkwa, the Giants. A big victory in Denver.
Giants, he's the guy that has been most productive, so he's been a thumbs up there. But if you're going to plug him into your lineup, I'm still skeptical about it. I think on a week-to-week basis, he's going to be pretty meh. Yeah, so pick him up, stash him, add depth to your roster, but I don't know that he's a week-in, week-out start for him.
All right, matchup-based starter for Orleans Darkwa, also dealing with the best.
You know, Deion Lewis, he's been pretty exciting. I mean, so you look at here, boom, I love these little stickers over here, but I'm going to go here like, I didn't play him. I missed out on 11 fantasy points. But the big deal here with Deion Lewis, he's getting a lot of opportunity points in this game here. But more importantly, 11 rushes. So, look, don't expect that you're going to get double digits every single week. This is the first time he's gotten a double digit, but just know that they're going to him often.
If you're going to pick up Josh McCown, right, you're going to do it as a plug and play. Well, what do you have this week? This week, you got the Dolphins, and they're pretty good, right? Then after that, what do you got? You got yourself the Falcons, and believe it or not, they're pretty good against the pass, right? And then if you decide to hold on to him for the long term, yes, the guy had a pile of points. 47 pass attempts. That is out of character for the Jets. They are mid-pack when it comes to a run-pass ratio. Probably all available on the waiver wire. I'd go ahead and take one of the other two. All right, Faz, finish it up with old Nelson Aguilar here.
A USC product and a wide receiver at that who's actually putting up some fantasy points. And so I'm on this side here. So this eagle is flying. He's flying backwards, but he's still flying. He's still been putting up numbers this season. That move to the slot has been very beneficial, and yes, I did fly the eagle backwards, but
fly. Score a touchdown.
Missing out on the.
Oh yeah, look at that. Good impact.
He is grimacing.
Well done,
look at that, huh? Oh, I can't believe I missed that tackle.
Coming up right after us. And you're right up to kickoff of the Colts and Titans, plus live reports from the sidelines in Nashville. And if you avoided advocating ageism and added Adrian Peterson after his arrival in Arizona, you were handsomely rewarded this week. So should you go long, or is it time to
Fall's a great time to celebrate, whether it's a get-together with loved ones or to celebrate a job well done. And there's no better time to celebrate than the Honda Savings Celebration event going on now. Want where you want. And get it all for less at your participating Honda Power Equipment dealer. That's power you can trust.
You nervous?
These are vents where it's possible to avoid hitting. Within other leading oils, those oils can actually be leading. Vents will for it.
It's more than just oil. It's liquid engineering.
Introducing the all-new KFC $10 chicken share with 9 chicken tenders. Or, woo, let's go! It's finger-licking good.
This is football, and this is how it is. Let's just get right to it.
Start your game day with Game Day Morning. Sunday at 7, only on NFL Network.
I'm here because I have a dream. Because a person without a dream is nothing.
Bushido Battleground premieres Wednesday at 10 p.m. on El Rey Network Channel 341.
I got a mortgage offer from the bank today.
What? You never just get one offer. Go to LendingTree.com and shop multiple loan offers for free.
Free?
Yeah, could save thousands. You should probably buy me dinner.
No.
By over $300. Go to LendingTree.com right now.
Pulls it up, throw down the middle, caught by Gronkowski, 15, Grotch into the touchdown Patriots.
All right, it's time for Tricks of the Trade as we help you decide whom to trade for and whom to sell high on while their stock is at its peak. Akbar.
Makes a lot of sense, and I'll tell you why.
Why?
We all know his injury history. It just doesn't make sense to me to hold on to him knowing that at some point, last week because, for whatever injury, and then you come back this week, gets you 20 fantasy points. Who knows how many games he's going to miss in between?
Out of nowhere. I mean, let's face it. The offensive line had been awful in terms of run blocking. His yards per carry average in the last year plus has been awful. And suddenly he looks like the guy who... I'll trade him to you right now, my friend.
I'll take him because guess what? I guarantee you he gets another 20 fantasy point game.
Blonde?
Blonde.
You're going to dye your beard blonde.
Our producer has that on tape.
Marcus, we already talked about Jordy Nelson. How about Devontae Adams?
Did look his direction when he came in the football game, and you saw that Adams had the touchdown without Aaron Rodgers back there slinging the pill.
No, counterpoint. Akbar, you want to buy low on a Packer receiver?
Yeah, I would, because there's going to be a real scare on Brett Hundley. I do still think that he'll be productive enough for you to have him. People are going, oh, no, I got to get rid of him. No Aaron Rodgers. Go ahead. I'll buy low on him. I'll have him.
Because they're not throwing him the football enough.
He's upstairs now. I thought that made a difference.
Look at his numbers. I mean, right now, he's darn good throwing the football. He has not been worth a first-round pick based on the production that we have seen, or lack thereof, in the first 6 weeks.
You think Sarkisian hates him?
I don't know, man.
I think he needs to call Bill Lazor and do what he did with
much. He scored 52 points, and you see that. Michael Thomas gave you just barely more than 1 fantasy point. He actually still leads this. Michael Thomas is going to be a big part of it.
I think it's obvious the Saints have become a defense and run the ball
Of course,
team.
obviously.
I mean, that's clear.
Right.
The production is key, but opportunity is the life. Marcus, 14 of them in that game against the Saints.
He's getting a lot of opportunity. It hasn't always translated into production necessarily, but again, you saw that though. He didn't in his direction, but just understand he's a guy with a good ceiling, but he also offers a very low floor. So just know that week to week, there could be some volatile production.
The team may be winless.
In 4 of the last 6 games this season, he's getting those opportunities. But again, just like we talked about, not always are we seeing on the back end. Eventually, he's going to bust.
Yeah, now the leaders in touches, the running backs. And, boy, a nice bounce back for Jay Ajayi this week.
130 yards. That's what we want out of Jay Ajayi. He's getting closer and closer to that mark where he had back-to-back 200-yard games. I like this.
Increase those touches. This is the best running back in Washington by a mile. Rob Kelly can't stay healthy. And Samaje P, get him open in space. He does this kind of thing. He makes big plays, and he has been, this guy wasn't drafted in a lot.
Patriots owner Robert Kraft and 18 Hall of Famers take a spiritual journey to Israel and spread their love of football. NFL Films presents Touchdown in Israel, Friday at 8 Eastern on NFL Network, ahead of an
dynamic performance so you can own the road. Aggressive styling so you can break away from everyone else. The bold Lexus.
Get 2 Whoppers.
Our best rates and points that never expire. Fast forward to a free night by earning double rewards points with every stay. Go get rewarded. Book now at bestwestern.com.
It's easy. Some advisors have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some advisors are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do really better money management.
T-Mobile's Unlimited now get 4 unlimited lines for just $40 each. Taxes and fees included. Another reason why T-Mobile is America's best unlimited network.
I found him.
Found him.
2 cowboys who deserve the sweet reward of a Diet Dr. Pepper.
That's mighty sweet.
Diet Dr. Pepper. It's the sweet one.
The #1 rated Ego Power Plus blower. Blasting 530 cubic feet of air per minute. Blower. Delivering the power of gas without the noise. Ego authorized dealers.
So I think I got to get my roof repaired. You know anybody?
Yeah, actually I might.
Yeah, great. Can you do a free background check on them? Get me some additional quotes and book it for 2 weeks from now.
You can't expect your neighbors to do everything.
Got it. Every touchdown dance. Right place at the right time? Mm-hmm. Right place at the wrong time? Got that too. If it's NFL football and it happened, we got it. Never miss a thing with broadcast replays, condensed games, and coaches.
Peterson's heading for the end zone. Touchdown Cardinals. What a debut by All Day. Well, you better believe All Day.
All right, it is time for the most painful ways in which we saboteur ourselves. How about it, Fabs? You are a saboteur.
Yeah, I should yesterday. But in a matchup with Matt Money Smith, well, let's just put it that way. I am in big. Yeah, I had more fantasy points than Alvin Kamara.
How many points did Adrian Peterson have?
25. My league manager skills are
Don't
being
pick on the
questioned.
old.
There's nothing out there data-wise that would suggest that this was a good move. Yes, perhaps
Sure there is.
Well, man, Marshawn Lynch, we hadn't seen that. McKinnon, though, coming off of back-to-back games. I mean, well, he has back-to-back games, but he was coming off of a 20-point game.
A big one. Yeah, no doubt. And that looks like the play moving forward as well.
Yeah.
Marcus, this young man's
sport that he was going to be that guy. ASJ was kind of a streaming option. You know, Jordan Reed's supposed to be that guy, right? But
fantasy tight end, he's not. If the tight end position wasn't so thin, he would be waiver wire fodder.
So are you saying he's like Julius Thomas then?
He's right in that category. To be
pretty much. They can have a cup of coffee together. Those two Coop over McKinnon and Fuller.
That's just your bad.
You know what, my father?
That's your fault.
Here's what my father would have said. Who authorized you to do this? Who authorized this?
That's your bad, Mike. Amari Cooper, he's to the point where he's
getting
droppable.
worse. He's getting worse.
He's droppable right now.
They gave him in that game, by the way. I'm not kidding. They gave 3, but the ball clearly came out when he hit the ground.
I don't know what it is.
It's like awful right now.
It's not what we expect.
With more waiver wire targets for Week 6 and more, check us out again Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Starts now.
Touchdown now up to his left. This is what Adrian Peterson does.
Great one-handed catch by Laquan Treadwell.
Touchdown, Tariq. The little guy is big man on camp.
Can't speculate on the injury whatsoever, but that doesn't look good.
Place right now. Aaron Rodgers, collarbone from yesterday's game.
Aaron Rodgers suffered a significant injury in the game.
He will require surgery. He'll be. Okay, I got 3 years invested in Brett Hundley, 2 years invested in Joe Callahan. The quarterback room is exactly where it needs to be. Okay, and Brett Hundley, he'll be starting this week.
In there and also not go in there. Tom Pelissero was at that press conference also.
And he said he's not focused on roster moves. He's focused on Aaron Rodgers getting healthy, but he made abundantly squad today. McCarthy was also asked about the.
I didn't like the hit. I had a chance to watch it last night on the plane. He's out of the pocket. He's clearly expecting to get hit on something like that. Yeah, it doesn't feel very good. So, yeah, I didn't like the hit.
They put on video of the next opponent, the Saints. They normally don't do that during a practice week until Wednesday. A very clear message there. Rodgers is gone, Lindsay, but everybody else needs to turn their attention to gain a big win over the season to rally around Brett Hundley as he heads into his first start. As far as the veteran quarterback is concerned, you heard McCarthy's answer when he was asked about Kaepernick. Thompson. No surprise that Kaepernick is not a consideration.
Well, they have been down this road before. They're in the process. Tom Pelissero live in Green Bay. Dan Hellie is here in studio. Dan?
And I am joined by Adam Say, are the Packers done?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's just, listen, it's just going to be too difficult to keep the ship floating, I would say, with Brett Hundley. I'm sorry. And what I anticipate happening is because you cannot ask this young man to do what Aaron Rodgers has done for this football team. And there's a lot of things that Aaron did. I do expect Aaron Jones to actually be more of the focal point in the backfield. I really help, but to answer your question, I think they're done in terms of competing for a playoff spot.
I don't think it's a question. I think they are. And you hate to say that about a good football team and a well-coached football team, and it's unfair to compare Hundley to Aaron Rodgers, but some of the things he did, the ball accurately down the field. Now, Hundley did some of that at UCLA. He's mobile. He moved around in the pocket, but within the offense. And then some of the in-game adjustments. When you see Aaron Rodgers change plays the backfield to create those mismatches as a running back, and then you got to play solid defense and simplify the
vision to me at best.
Right now.
Without
Rodgers.
Right.
Rodgers might be the most important person to his team. Maybe the best players at their position. David Johnson at running back, Odell Beckham Jr. at wide receiver, J.J. Watt now is wide open. You look at 11 teams that have between 3 and 5 wins.
It's the best conference in football. NFC, it's the most deep conference in football. But if I had to pick a favorite right now, to me it's the Philadelphia Eagles. What I've seen, you incorporate the balance that they're showing. I love to see the way they're playing right now.
He says the defense, some might say the most mediocre because it's so tightly bunched together.
No, they do a lot. And this was the team now is the L.A. Rams. Yeah. And the L.A. Rams, absolutely. The L.A. Rams, Sean McVay has changed the culture. And I executing your plays. The other thing that I was impressed with is that you can go on the road against a really good team and play good football. Yeah. And all phases. We saw it on the special teams. Farrell Cooper, right? He runs back a kick. Phases. That's when you know you have something special. So I'm excited about the Rams.
The biggest takeaway from what you said, the defense.
New coordinator.
They could be a pretty scary team, no doubt about it. Thanks, fellas.
Steelers were looking like a hot mess. Then the Steelers traveled to Kansas City, and they flipped the script. This play here, one of the other than that, not really a great outing for them. Alex Smith's worst of the year. The run game's worst of the year. Meanwhile, the Steelers 3/4 of the team's scrimmage yards and also both of their touchdowns in the
missing. Whatever that is, we'll go look at it on film. But we get that corrected. But hopefully, yes, this is a stepping stone to say.
I think we got the guys that just want it. Guys pride themselves off of getting wins. I mean. That loss we had last week, guys couldn't wait to come back and just play again.
Physical, anytime I feel like we play each other, they're physical games, intense.
So no more unbeatens in the NFL. There is one streak that has handed Kansas City as many losses as the rest of their opponents combined in that time frame.
I went back and watched the game. They rushed 3 a lot in this game, and 3-man rush. They got to him with 4-man rush, occasionally a 5-man rush. But and when you do that, it's hard to find windows. He had to kind of move around and buy some time at the end to make some big plays, but that was really all he had.
Do you feel better about the Steelers today than you did at this time last year?
Bell being back there, he is your guy. You give him the football. He had 32 carries against the Kansas City Chiefs. Ben had 25 pass attempts last week when you had 55 pass attempts, and you had the grumbling in the locker room of why don't we hand the ball to Le'Veon? That was the talk all week. just get back to what you do, and you're a good enough football team to be there in the end.
Steelers buys. I thought that was interesting, worth passing along. Chiefs still atop the conference, obviously, despite the loss, though they will like Thursday Night Football this week, an AFC West matchup, Chiefs-Raiders in Oakland on NFL Network, CBS, and Amazon Prime Video.
Our Bowman staying in the Bay Area, signing a one-year contract with the Raiders. Oakland was in need of another yesterday, but got hurt on this play in the third quarter of the game, sandwiched between a couple of Lions plays to heal. Teddy Bridgewater will return to practice on Wednesday. Bridgewater hasn't participated in practice since he dislocated him on the active roster or placed him on injured reserve. Let's bring in our insider, Ian Rappaport, with more on the situation for Teddy and for the Vikings.
Well, let's start with the fact, Dan, that Bridgewater is now in the final year of his deal. If a player is unable to play in Week 6, during Week 6, and he's in the final year of his deal, his contract will toll. That's what he would toll, except it's not exactly clear. There is no precedent that I've found. I've talked to NFL people. If Bridgewater, I am told, is active this season, if he plays, the Vikings will not going to do anything to hurt him, so do not expect it to be an issue.
You're not talking about a toll on an interstate expressway. You're in the AC joint in his throwing shoulder. What's the latest on that situation?
That it is a sprained AC joint in his right shoulder. It's day-to-day, not week-to-week. Jameis is not expected to throw this week, so he'll really have a full week today. He's a tough dude. He's played through a lot. I would not be surprised if he plays again.
An incredibly painful issue. Speaking of games and not missing a game, Marcus Mariota has missed one, trying to come back tonight, officially listed as questionable for there, and that's the big question everybody wants answered. Alex, do we have any more information on Mariota's status for this game?
The big question, Dan, I can tell you that Marcus was one of the first players to arrive here at Nissan Stadium. Maybe he's eager to play. After all, the franchise quarterback for the Tennessee Titans tonight. He has practiced all week, although he's been limited in practice. He has done a little bit more each day, and his head coach, Mike Mularkey, has been saying all week that he's hopeful that he can play. I think the bigger question maybe is how do they utilize him? I don't expect that he's going to be able to be as mobile with that strained hamstring, and so I think that means that the Tennessee Titans really have to put the run game and the responsibility of the run game on their two.
Alex Flanagan in Nashville, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Still to come on NFL Total Access. Only the best, please.
He's going to throw into the end zone.
From the courageous to the outrageous.
It's caught, and he's running.
From the unexpected to the unbelievable.
The pass is tipped and intercepted.
Highlights from every single Sunday game on the way.
Plus, a closer look, please.
Peterson up the middle.
At the return of AD, the return of the Giants D.
Pass intercepted by Jackrabbit.
And the possible return of Teddy B. But first, a ruling, please, on the best team in the NFC that isn't, and a game-changing touchdown.
It's a Jet touchdown.
That wasn't.
An awful break for the Jets.
Did the Patriots get lucky? Did the Falcons get what they deserved? That's coming up next on NFL Total Access.
We took crispy chicken and married it with our medium drink. The new $5 crispy chicken quesadilla box, only at Taco Bell.
This is not another 18-blade razor. Because this is one blade from Philips Norelco. A blade for beards and stubble. Shape and shave any length and be your best you with one blade from Philips Norelco. Innovation and you. Philips Norelco.
At Farmers, we've seen almost everything, so we know how to cover almost anything. Even a chauffeur terrier.
Weather was good.
And we covered it February 23rd, 2016. Talk to Farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
This is big. Here we go. Kareem Hunt and the dynamic Chiefs are the Chiefs. Raiders. Thursday Night Football. When it's on, it's on. Thursday at 8 on NFL Network, CBS, and stream.
Majority of that time was spent in an orthodontist